Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV Podcast 558. Well, I warned everyone last week that I was going to be in Mexico, and yeah, I'm in Mexico City. One more night, Johnny. How's Wisconsin treating you?
It's actually cold here. We've hit a little cold snap. In general, Wisconsin always treats me well, but we have hit a cold snap. I think we've been topping out at like 52, 53 all week. And it's supposed to be that way for the next and rainy for the next couple days. So you're going to come back to a little bit of cold and a lot of rain, but then start from what it looks like next week. Maybe spring has sprung, and I'll take blame for the weather. Literally 2 days ago, my wife's like, "Can you put the snow shovels away?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's only May." Because there was sitting one out front by our front door, and I had literally had one by the back door. So I did put them in the garage, and sure enough, look what happens. It doesn't snow, but I can't really shovel rain.
Well, hopefully we're all in the clear. There was plenty of heat down here this weekend in Mexico City. And without further ado, we've got a special guest that we want to welcome to the show. We're going to learn so much more about Mexico Disc Golf and everything that's going on, including one of the newest manufacturers of both discs and baskets. Johnny, you ready? Big reveal?
I'm ready.
All right, let's bring in Esteban. Oh, hey, you're right here.
Hey, I'm right next to you.
Oh, see, that was clever. Huh?
Oh my God,
like
magic.
You were somewhere else.
Hey.
Well, first of all, welcome everyone. This is Esteban. I'm gonna lead right away, and I wanted to wait for this. I now almost feel dumb calling you Esteban, calling Santiago. It's all about the nicknames around here.
It's all about the nicknames.
So,
yes.
So explain first of all what that is and how. What that is for the culture, and then explain your nickname and where it came from.
It's a weird nickname, but I guess in Mexican culture, ever since in like elementary, even back when we were kids in school, we just like nicknames. Mm-hmm. We just give each other's nicknames. Quecas is Santiago, Chippy is Paulo, my brother. I'm Tweety. Fortu is Fortunato.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we just love nicknames. It's just an easier way to I don't know, call someone. It's just names are so long sometimes. It's like Pedro, Alfonso, Reyes. It's like, come on, just Pedrito.
Which I love, but to be fair, some of them don't make. I mean, they all come from other things. Like, so as you just said, like John is Jonathan Van Derzen. His nickname forever has been Johnny V. It's shortened. One of my nicknames would just be Ter, T-E-R, short for Terry. Like tons of nicknames often are just really kind of boring, shortened versions. But you guys make just completely off the wall, like Tweety.
Tweety. It's like the Tweety.
Like Tweety Bird.
Tweety Bird, but without the W. And instead of that, it's an R. And my dad gave it to me for some reason. I've asked my entire life why, and he kept saying, I don't know. It just sounded good.
Okay.
See, I think that's a better way to do nicknames. I mean, we just shorten a name, and that's okay, but it's boring. Like having something completely off the wall is way better.
I agree. I love it. It's so funny because at one point this weekend, I referenced Santiago, who's one of the main contacts that I've had here in Mexico Disc Golf outside of Fabienne, who kind of originally got things going with me last year when I came down here. And Santiago graciously helped me in doing some camera work. And I met all of you guys, but he's the guy that I've kind of known or connected with the most. So at one point this weekend, I said something or other about Santiago, and somebody looked at me like I was crazy. Like they had no idea.
Who are you talking about?
Quecas?
Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Quecas? That's his real name, okay?
Yeah, because right, Johnny, like tell me where it doesn't make sense that Santiago equals Quecas.
It doesn't. I mean, it does come from Quesada, which is his last name.
Okay.
Quesada. And this is a wild guess to me. I actually haven't asked him that, but I'm guessing it's from Quesada, Quecas.
Okay.
Because Quesada, quesadilla, and we call a quesadilla here, we call it a queca.
Queca.
See, like, hey, make me 2 quecas.
2 quecas.
Okay.
And
he's quecas. He's quecas.
Okay.
We are kind of creative.
So double quesadilla is Santiago.
It's his nickname. Yes.
Okay. Well, let's start with the fact that I'm here in Mexico City. My first ever trip to Mexico was just last year. I met you and the rest of the guys in Coquilloc.
Yes. Amazing trip.
Amazing trip.
Yes.
Just such a community. I love it. Everything about that event, I absolutely loved. And you guys, you and 3 others, have officially formed a new disc golf company.
Yes.
And well, let's start with it. It's Shaman.
It's Shaman Disc Golf, correct.
You also just told me, though, a couple days ago that you guys literally just started playing disc golf like 2 years ago.
2 years ago. In July, I started 2 years ago, July. Like July 2 years ago. Sorry, my
Yeah, so you're coming up on just 2 years
Yeah.
anniversary in a month and a half.
Yes, but ever since we started, I started my first round with a plus 30 something. And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever done in my life. No, it just hooked us, all of us. And my brother started a little bit before me. He's way better than me. And one day I told him, like, hey, like, I don't see anything here in Mexico. Like, I don't see anything growing. There's a lot of guys that bring discs from the US to Mexico and then resell them here and etc. But yeah, I was like, let's start with something like, I don't know, hats, shirts, bags, or something like that. And then I told Fortu. Fortu,
Yep.
and he was the third partner who started with us. And he has a really good friend with an plastic injection company in Guadalajara, Jalisco.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, I think we can actually do something more. And yeah, 2 years later, we have the first PDGA approved disc from Latin America.
Hold that up.
Fuego. This is the first run of our Fuegos. And we are so happy. We're so proud, excited. I don't know. The day that it came out, we were like almost in tears. Like, I can't believe this is happening. We have our first putt, basically. And it feels good.
I mean, to be fair, most people, you just said one of the biggest connections here possible is most people don't just have a friend who has a friend that is injecting molding. So right off the bat, like, that's incredible, and what an awesome happenstance and fortunate situation. What I have to ask, because injection molding is so vast, so crazy,
insane.
What is that factory or that company? What are some of the other things that they typically make?
So what they typically make is flip-flops.
Okay.
Flip-flops for Walmart, for Costco, for a bunch of stores, big stores. But he had the injection machine. And so we were like, maybe we can make this happen. And did we have trouble making that happen. But I mean, it happened. And he is one of our partners.
Yeah.
So he is our 5th partner.
Okay.
So we're 5 in the team, the Shaman team, and yeah, he's a big part of our team.
Now, it's no secret, and I talked about this, and I feel like this will forever get talked about as Mexico disc golf, history. Dynamic Disc has really helped make some major strides here.
Oh yeah.
Of course, and all the support that they've given, also the Paul Macbeth Foundation and La Paz, and then things continuing to grow. What were some of the things that, when you guys were looking at starting a disc golf company and even your very first molded disc, what were some of the things you used as references, or you looked at and said, well, we like this or we don't like that? What were some of those things?
So when we started making the brand, one of the things we talked about with our designer he talked to us about, is that he didn't see a big difference between like the big brands.
Okay.
in their I don't know, in their way of like, expressing their brand,
Okay.
something like that. And so he proposed us, why don't we create a brand that is for everyone? You know, it's like we might not have all the discs in the world, we might not have all the baskets in the world, but we are part of you. You know, we're starting from zero and starting, learning the process and failing and learning and failing until we achieve something, and then we're gonna go again in the road and learn and fail and learn and fail. And it's like, I don't know, I think we created a brand that everyone likes more than what we bring. Is like they like us, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
what we are.
yeah, you
we
guys,
represent.
I mean, I would summarize that by saying you guys are community.
Mhm.
You guys have really developed this culture of having a good time, loving everybody,
Yes.
getting together for the sake of both throwing discs, but then also having a good time afterwards and things like it's kind of everything. It's not just the professional play or about who you beat or how many tournaments you're playing and things like that. It's really kind of it's a collective group of you that makes it feel so good.
I think it's definitely like a community
Yes.
brand.
So
For sure.
with that,
Mhm.
because no habla español, I know I know all of like 10 Spanish words.
You've been learning.
I've been learning a few, trying to. It is a good cop out though. If somebody wants to ask you for like something, or somebody's trying to get you to go somewhere, or shake you down for something, I can always no habla español, and I just keep walking.
No gracias.
But I do have to ask. So the word shaman, and what does that mean? Where does that come
Mhm.
from? How did you guys land on that?
So shaman, in a lot of cultures, like I think every single culture has a shaman, and it's named shaman, or a doctor, or I don't know, a witch, or a
Helper,
or exactly. And this is is the person who unifies like the community. Is in there helping with what he has to offer, you know. And so I think shaman was, I mean, our designer came up with that, and since the first meeting with him that he brought that up, we were all like, oh, I think this is it.
Nailed it.
I think you nailed it on the first shot. I think that was an ace. And yeah, we loved it. I mean, it worked also because in English, shaman is basically the same, it's just pronounced differently, but you can pronounce it as how you want. So
you said it very differently than how I said it.
Shaman. I mean, we call it shaman.
Shaman.
But I mean, a lot of people here call it shaman as well. So it doesn't really matter how you pronounce it. It's written the same. So yeah.
Relatively, at least easy to spell, and it's not too confusing in that way. One thing that, as you were just talking about, all four of you, now five, I guess, but the four of you who aren't molding all have very different backgrounds.
Oh yes.
And quite diverse. What is it that you're pulling? You know, even this weekend when I saw the tournament run, everybody was doing different things.
Yes.
So what are some of those backgrounds?
So starting with myself, I'm actually an actor, writer as well, producer sometimes. But yeah, so I have free time.
Wait a minute, aren't you working all the time?
I'm working. Of course, I'm working all the time. What are you talking about?
Okay, but you have a very flexible schedule.
I have a very flexible schedule, and I mean, ever since I found disc golf, I've been playing a lot and getting involved with it. I'm the kind of guy who watches all the DGBT tournaments, everything, all the Jomes, the Go Throw, all around yours, of course. So yeah, that's my background. So I had a lot of time. That's why I asked my brother, who is a dentist. He's also, how do you say it? The schedule?
Money?
No. A lot of money. No. He has a
flexible schedule.
Schedule.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then Kekas, he comes from all this production, video making,
Multimedia,
production.
every kind.
Oh, yeah. He's
high
big.
level, great looking video
Yes.
and photography and such.
I mean, ever since he came on, we've grown big time. So add addition to us. And Mano, who is the owner of the factory, the plastic injection factory, does that.
Okay. Yep.
And Fortu has a Materiales Jalisco, which is a construction, like material construction for constructions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So an actor, multimedia whiz, a dentist, construction, and then ultimately an injection molder.
Playing disc golf. That's a joke.
That's
a joke right there.
They all walk into a cantina. I don't know. There's a punchline from there somewhere. Well, that's absolutely awesome to see. You guys, even more, well, a few months ago, I remember also making the announcement, us briefly talking about it, that you guys have your first approved basket as well.
Yes.
What was some of that, and where did some of maybe those inspirations come from? Because I feel like baskets, we're getting to a point where it seems like almost every basket configuration in the world has been done.
I mean, I saw the New Zealand's.
Yeah, sure.
The
helix.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's very
they're
creative.
beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah, honestly, we wanted to have a basket. So we just wanted to have like the easiest, or not easiest, but the simplest way to build it.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't want any big complications or anything. And so the dynamic discs built a lot of, or they helped bring a lot of baskets to build a lot of courses here in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So most of our courses are with veterans.
Yep.
With dynamic disc veterans. So that's one of our inspirations for our own basket. But that was a big process as well. A lot of last year we were working on that, getting the planos,
the specs and the
exactly. And yes, I think it was in February when we got the call. So we did a video call with
Jeff Humberg.
With Jeff,
yep.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah,
and so we had the basket, and he had to check everything. So we had a meter digital.
Like a
scale,
some kind of a tape measure.
Exactly,
digital,
like digital tape measure, so he could see all the measurements, etc. And yeah, he at the end of the call, he's like, "You guys, I don't have anything to say. Like, you'll be approved on Monday." Yes. And we're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening." But yeah, that was a fun time making the basket.
Yeah,
agave, it's called.
The agave.
The agave, which is the plant where the tequila comes from. The tequila and the mezcal.
I've heard about tequila. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I just learned this week.
How.
That's awesome. And so let's go with naming structure. I think that's a big conversation in all of disc golf. And I know everybody at home or the people on the chat are probably thinking, if I were to start a disc golf company, what would my discs, what would be kind of the protocol for the disc names? And then you have other merchandise or apparel or items that you build out, including baskets. So agave is the basket. The first ever disc is Fuego.
Fuego. Yes.
So what's going to be kind of the theme for continued
Shaman.
discs? Yeah.
So we had a lot of conversations about that. I mean, from like stones, jewels, to flowers, to but everything was around nature. Okay. Because that's also shaman. The shamans work with nature. That's shaman. So that's also, I forgot to tell you that's one of the big reasons that we picked shaman, and it worked perfectly because we're always in the woods, in the parks, and the nature is a big part of our sport. And and I think the shaman, like he can bend everything and control the air, the fire, the water, the elements, the bugs, the I don't know, the squirrels, whatever, you know.
Yep.
And so for fuego, well, the disc naming, honestly, this fuego came. Tekas thought about it because one of the first actual mold that we made got caught on fire.
Fingers are hot. Wow.
It was real hot.
Yes.
And so I think that was one of the main reasons that we called fuego because it came out of that. So
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it came out of literally the ashes. So also Phoenix could be a nice name.
Innova does have a Phoenix disc, as you probably know. So yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I think it's gonna come down to nature and what surrounds us.
Okay.
So we're gonna find
perfect
the names.
And then the fact that you guys can draw on your spelling and pronunciation and all that to make it even that much more unique. I don't see. Well, here's what I would liken it to. In New Zealand, every disc RPM has is after one of their birds.
Yes.
Right? Which is such a beautiful way to pay homage to your country, your culture. Plus, the bird names are crazy. You know, just all the crazy names that they have. They sound crazy to me.
To us.
To all of us who are on the other side. The Piwaka Waka and the Tuiri and all the bird names that they have. So I think that's awesome, and you're not going to run out of words. No. There's just so many different ways that you could take it. Will you at all concern yourself with maybe more so the pronunciation even than the spelling, but the pronunciation of the word? Because if you want these presumably worldwide, I feel like it can be a real detriment if you have something that no one knows how to pronounce it, and then they just get it wrong all the time. Yeah. Which some might say, well, that's good. That's marketing and promotion, because then everyone just argues about how to say their name. But I don't know. I feel like being able to read it and know, if you want to refer someone to a disc, you should be able to know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, so we're not naming anything like Tlaloc or Popocatépetl, because it would be insane. It would be like, I want to Popocatépetl. Okay. Let me get you your Pataplanaglegama.
I'll take 2 of those. Base plastic.
But yeah, it is a conversation that we've had. Okay. Like in Fuego, I think it made sense because it's a Spanish word, but I think a lot of internationals, like other than Spanish speaking people, know the word fuego for some reason. Songs,
Taco Bell,
or Taco Bell,
Taco Bell has like a sauce or something,
right?
NBA Jam.
And I don't mean to to diminish it, but
no.
If it's a word that I know and know how to pronounce, and I don't speak Spanish, like there's clearly that means there's a larger, I don't want to say acceptance, but there's a commonality with it. And fuego is absolutely one of those words, just like agave, and whether they're products that get used so Americans are more familiar with them, or just words that have then been used for other marketing and selling and advertising. I really love. I think that's what is kind of the easy way to get things started.
And we are gonna try to have names that are either also like shaman. The shaman is shaman in English is basically the same. It's like, I don't know, obsidiana. It's obsidian.
Obsidian, like the rock. Like the black, like the rock. Yeah,
exactly. It's obsidiana in Spanish.
Okay.
We don't have that in anything, but that's an example.
Sure.
That we can start bringing the Spanish, easy Spanish, into our names. Yeah. So it's not Popocatépetl. Or
I don't know. I kind of maybe you guys just have your minis. When you make minis, maybe that becomes the name. It's like it's a mini, but it's like the longest word you guys can come up with, so it doesn't even fit.
It has to go like a spiral inside the mini.
Yes,
exactly. That's actually our volcano.
Okay.
The one you saw in Cocoyoc, right in the front.
Yeah,
that's the Popocatépetl.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a real word.
I believed it was real. I just knew I wouldn't be able to pronounce it either. It's been so cool to see all of this progress. What's next?
What's next? I mean, honestly, we had this like a long or midterm goal,
Mm-hmm.
and now we reach the basket and the first disc in the first semester of this year,
Okay.
which is insane for us. So we're super excited about that. Next, I think it's gonna be we're working on a portable basket, which is gonna be called probably going to be called Monarca, which
Monarca?
which is the butterflies.
Like Monarch. Okay.
Exactly,
Sorry.
the monarch butterflies, which are really big in Michoacan, in the state of Michoacan here in Mexico. And yeah, I think our next mold, that's probably going to be next.
And I know we had this conversation the other night while building some player packs, and we'll talk about the tournament in a moment. But you guys started with a putter.
Yes.
And I said, I feel like sometimes that's one of the most difficult discs to get out of people's hands and give them a new one. But the explanation that I heard ultimately was genius. You want to explain like why you guys had a putter versus a 13-speed driver?
Who explained it to you?
Okay, guess. Yeah. And,
what did you say? I want to know.
There's a company conflict here. It was just more or less that when you guys are starting, because disc golf's so new here, that when you're starting out, rather than trying to hand somebody a 13-speed driver, they really should have something that's more along the lines of a putter or mid-range. And so, to me in the U.S., I think, you might want the biggest, fastest disc on the planet, and that's how you break it in the market. But here, you guys have a different marketing strategy because getting somebody a putter is probably going to be, whatever disc they get is going to probably be their first disc.
Yes.
So the fact that you're going to give them a putter and hopefully get them off on the right foot, I think is genius. So I ate all my words and put it down with a tequila shot. Like, what do I know? No,
and I think, in my opinion, knowing how to throw a putter, it's so tough, right? Because you have to control the speed, you have to control the angles, you have to know like the wind, where is it coming from, etc. And for a beginner to start throwing a putter, I wish I started throwing a putter when I started, because I started with a destroyer. So of course. So yeah, I think that is the explanation that we're
going with.
Exactly.
Just to explain it for anyone asking at home, this is a relatively somewhat lower profile. I don't know how good it shows up on camera, but a little bit lower profile. You guys do have a bead. It's not a massive bead, but it's not a micro bead. It's a regular bead, and a little bit of a low profile. I don't know what would you compare it to? And I know that's going to always be tough but you're the new company, so you're always going to ask, what does it compare to?
We've heard people comparing it to Pures.
Okay. Yep.
To Judges.
Okay.
And to PA3s, I think.
Okay. I can see that.
And I do think it's a lot because of this little bead. Exactly.
Okay.
I putt with this. I've been putting with the Fuegos even before they were approved, not in competition. But but yeah, I love the feel. It just works,
And then, as asked out there right now, this feels to me, in terms of the plastic compound, similar to that of like a baseline Judge.
Yes,
like you were just saying. Like this one in particular, a little bit tacky. This one's a little bit soft and has a little bit of grip to it. That's how I would describe it. And I was saying the other night, like I like my putters a little domier, and I like them a little stiffer and a little more slick, so to speak.
Yeah.
I like a KC AVR, for instance.
Okay.
Those were always really slick.
Okay.
This just has more grip to it.
Yes. It's also a great throwing putter. I can see. I don't know if you watch Fabian's reel
Yeah.
on
Okay.
Instagram.
Yep.
He threw a maiden and he threw the fuego.
Yeah.
And he got very surprised with the
More stability.
Exactly, with the
I
stability.
saw that.
And I think, I mean, that's one of the things that we want to bring to the community is like, you just don't have to putt with it. It's a great approach. It's a great throwing putter for short holes that you don't want big skips, or you just want to control your line, you know?
Yep.
So yeah, this is big for that.
Okay. Well, my only marketing tip would be,
Yes.
you also, anytime talking about any disc, there's a few lines in the industry that have to go along with it.
Okay.
Johnny, what's your favorite one?
Feels good in the hand.
Yeah. You have to always say, oh, this feels good in the hand.
You know what? I was just thinking about that it really feels good in the hand.
Yeah, it does.
But does it hold any line you throw it on?
Yes. It just holds the line you throw, the angle you throw, it just holds it.
It does. It does. And really, it's good for everyone of all skill levels.
Exactly.
Like amateur, intermediate level, up to professional. This disc is good for everyone of all skill levels.
It really is.
So
it really is.
So those are some of the
perfect.
Yes, those are some of the major points that you have to go with anytime you're talking about a disc. So you can, and the good thing is those apply to every disc you guys make in the future.
They will.
Every review.
Amazing.
Yes. Every review. All right. So real quick, let's move into some of this weekend's action.
Okay.
Well, real quick, Terry. Real quick about the Fuego. Is it possible for us to get it here in the United States? Like, can we order it from you? Can we order it from a distributor that's in the U.S., like an Infinite or something like that? Like, where are we able to get it right now?
So that's one of the things that we're gonna work on next. So coming out from Shaman, because we do want to give it to distributors, in there. We want to send them and have them there. So to answer your question, we have a store, which is shamandiscgolf.mx. And I think, I'm not sure, but I'll check. But we will soon be sending some discs to the US.
I'll follow that up and say if there's any way that I can get on board with these guys to
that'd be awesome.
Have some, as I'm working on getting my website revamped. Obviously, I don't have quite the nowhere near the reach and site that like an Infinite does, but I'd be happy to. I'm not sure how many Infinite would need in order to make the very first order, but if there's smaller quantities or whatever, I'd be interested in being a distributor for you guys as well. So they can be in the U.S. You guys are fortunate that, and this isn't really a secret, I think you guys are fortunate in manufacturing costs and personnel might be a little bit lower here. However, the second you're taking them out of country, that's when the prices, are going to get caught up with everyone else anyway, probably, right?
Yeah. I mean, the shipping, taxes, and
imports are
exactly.
Who knows where the F we are with tariffs this week or today or tomorrow or whatever. So I'm sure at some point that's going to be a problem. But yeah, so you guys are probably looking right now in maybe a $12 to $15-ish US retail.
Probably,
I think is what whatever it is. Obviously, as you guys ramp up production, we'll get all those things, and I'd be happy to report back or have you guys back on when you guys are ready for some of that stuff. But
we will have them there for sure.
Yeah, it's very cool to see.
Yes, thank you for the question.
Is there anything else? Right now you guys just pretty much have this one plastic type.
Yes. That's another thing that we're gonna be working on.
Okay, you want to expand
exactly the plastic types that we have. That's in the production team, which is Fortu and Meno. We're working on that. Definitely.
And you guys could see maybe 2 or 3, or
I think 3 2 or 3 would be amazing.
Okay,
starting with that probably. So yeah,
I honestly, like I say it all the time, I feel like I've done almost everything or dabbled in almost everything there is in all of disc golf, almost. except for disc production, and I have no interest in it. Like I love and support you guys and everyone else that has taken it on, from all the way, from the early days of Innova and Discraft to where they are, and then everyone that's come after them essentially. But I can't even fathom.
It's insane. I'm not part of the production work team, so for me, every time they come with like news and everything, I'm like, what are you talking about? So it's fascinating. I've learned so much. We've all learned so much in this process.
Yeah, and speaking of learning, I'll pull back the curtain just a little bit.
Yeah.
One thing that I was talking to them about the other night was just hot stamping.
Yeah.
And how like hot stamping in itself is not only an art, but like there's so much more to it strategically. And one of the things that you guys had done with some of your early discs with the Fuegos is you had more of like a print that was attempted, and you learned some of the pros and cons of that process, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, in first looks, it looks amazing, but if you kind of scratch it or something like that, it will start to come off. So that's a no for us.
Sure.
But the hot stamping, the discs that we hot stamped, they were perfect. Like they looked perfect. I think the black and golden, I love that combination of colors. So yeah, we have our hot stamp guy already working on the new Fuegos.
Yeah.
So
and I just as I learned the other night, there's nothing more frustrating than being a smaller company. You guys get your disc molded. That's a massive headache with a million things that can go wrong. And then you get to the hot stamper and another million things can go wrong. And you're like, but we can't waste.
We had it.
Yes.
It was right there. Come on.
Yes. So
it was the last part of our process. I mean, it's still a part of our process, the hot stamp, but I think we nailed it.
You'll get there. Yeah, for what you haven't already, I'm sure you guys will get it all figured out. It's there's a lot to it. As I've seen at a number of companies, Dynamic is very cool in that you go to some of the tournaments and they let you stamp your own disc, but they have it all set up, and the person walks in and just presses the buttons and it stamps.
Oh, really?
The stamp operators got it all set up already, so they did all the hard work, and then players can come in, and that's one of the coolest parts probably about being in Emporia is the players get to then grab a disc, put it on the stamp machine, press the buttons themselves, and actually watch their disc get stamped.
Wow. Making this right there.
Yeah,
Ding.
Exactly. So that's something that's pretty cool.
I would love to do that.
There's a lot of different ways you guys can arrive at it. And just even the fact that you guys tried this printing method, I think what that means is you're learning, and you're going to probably discover stuff that others aren't doing that does work, in this whole process. You guys have different resources, and you're newer to the sport, so you don't necessarily have all these preconceived ideas of like, oh, well, it's always been done this way. Some of you guys don't know what's been done. So you'll forge your own, you'll forge your own path. I think that can be a blessing.
That is definitely a blessing. I mean, in disguise, because, sometimes it's like, oh, we should have known this. but in this, there are surprises that we're like, hey, we had no idea this could work.
Yeah.
And it works. So yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Good. All right, now let's move on. We'll move on to some tournament stuff. As I said, I was here a few months ago, back in September. I was in the state of Morelos, which is where Coquioc took place. Again, huge shout out to Fabienne and everyone else that was part of that event, so that I could be in Mexico for my first time ever. I want to do the math, and we don't quite know the numbers, but there was roughly 112 or 120 people at that event.
Yes.
You guys had 68. You sold out at 68.
We sold out at 68.
I'm really curious to know, of those 68, how many did I meet or see a few months ago? Because it's got to be about 80%. At least 50 or 60 of the people.
Yeah, probably.
We're at both.
At least 65, 70%.
Okay.
At least.
So
See, because everyone was like, "Hey, Terry!" And Terry was like, "Who are you? Never met you before."
I'm not saying it has anything to do with me. I'm just saying like that is awesome that because of you're not oversaturated with tournaments in the country. So when there's a tournament, everybody wants to be there.
All the community wants to be there. Yeah,
and
sure.
that's a whole nother story, and that's incredible. But so you guys had a tournament. How does it come about for the tournament season and year that you guys had an event this weekend, and where does that fit into a schedule?
So there's a Mexican Federation of Disc Golf, Federación Mexicana de Disc Golf, and there is we just created this year the TMDG, which is the Tour Mexicano de Disc Golf.
Okay.
It's like the DGPT in Mexico.
Okay.
Basically. Yep. So we're starting it this year fully with points and everything for all the categories. I mean, here in Mexico, we have MPOs, FPOs, MA1s, FA1s, everything. But so because we're just starting to play as a country, as a community here in Mexico, like a lot of people are playing MA2s, for example.
Okay. Yep.
A lot of people are playing FA2s, MA1s. So it's gonna take up like a year, so everyone like levels up the category, I guess. And that's another subject.
Yeah, I mean, there's a progression there.
See. So yeah, the Mexican Federation of Disc Golf made every month a big a tournament
stop.
Exactly.
Yep.
A tournament stop, the Mexican tour. So in January was the Mexican Championship. So that was that's the biggest because it's an 8-tier.
Okay. Yep.
That's the only 8-tier we have in Mexico in the whole year, and that is in San Luis Potosí, in Tangamanga. Last year, exactly. Another disc. Is the name of the park. And last yeir, the Go Throw guys came over, filmed. You can watch it, and it was really fun. Kevin Jones, Paloma, were here. Great guys, had a lot of fun. And so February is in La Paz, which is the course that Paul Macbeth Foundation built in La Paz, and that's in February. In March, it's in Montemorelos, which is near Monterrey, Nuevo León. And April is in Jalisco, in Guadalajara. May was in here in Mexico City. And yeah, like every month is in a different state that has a course, obviously. But yeah, this year we had to relocate some of the tournaments because they were sharing states. So,
sure,
you know, and I don't know. I love it because we're growing. There's planning on building a course in Zacatecas, in Chihuahua, in Colima, and so that's what we want. We just want to infest Mexico with courses and have people come play organically. I think that's how the sports grow, and go into communities, to schools, to teach kids and start them early, you know? I think that's
no, you're right on everything. You're hitting on all the right stuff. And I liken that to, of course, a number of other countries that I've been to that are just getting started, or maybe have even like a place like Thailand who has had disc golf for 10 or 12 years. However, we're now seeing that growth kind of get ramped up more and more year after year. And it's schools getting them there, and then just building courses, then building, community leagues, tournaments. I mean, all the stuff that we're all used to doing, but you guys are in those early stages. And so the possibilities are still endless, which is awesome.
Are insane. Like, I have many things that I want to do. Many things. One of them, I started here in Naucali in the park. We played the tournament. I started a league for the first time, like a U-Disc league, you know?
Mhm.
And it's going great, and we're having a lot of fun. A lot of people are coming because it's a league, you know, and
Mhm.
it just makes you want to compete, and it's just amazing how everything is growing fast here in Mexico.
Yeah, and I'll make my plug now, and you guys, I'm guessing already know this. Do your best to get people to log their rounds in some capacity on UDisc. They don't have to post their score publicly.
Yeah.
They don't have to, like none of that stuff of those details. Like the details don't matter. Just get them to check in and or to play and show that they've been to a park, because I'm hearing more and more every single week about how people are taking the UDisc stats, and I know UDisc would tell us all this.
Mhm.
They're taking the UDisc stats, and then they can say, hey, here's our course. It's been in for 6 months. We've seen X amount of people here, that have logged around. They're coming from these places. They're coming from other countries, other states. Like that information is so powerful for you to then take and say, hey, here's what's happened at Nocali, our leagues and our tournaments and our days there. And then when you want to pitch it to some other park district or some other community, you have information to back up
right there.
Yeah, so
that is true.
You just doesn't pay me anything. I will tell you though,
Sponsored by.
but just that information and what they can give you, you can go ask UDisc for certain stuff as well, and then just stuff they automatically email you. I think as a course director,
I have been emailed all of this information. I was like, okay, this guy's been playing like an insane.
You're like, I got to get out and practice,
man. Take it easy on the board. But Kekas has been going into that UDisc, everything that they offer, all the data, the analysis. So I've heard about that, and it's definitely, that's why I created the UDisc, also the league, because every new person that I meet in the park or whatever, and that I explain disc golf to them, it comes along with UDisc, so they can, log in their rounds.
Yeah, and one thing, maybe asking about what some of the differences. Of course, as you was just describing, a lot of newer players that there's not 10 top level pros running around in the country just yet. So just newer players that are learning their way. Courses can have a slightly more, I don't want to say rugged, more basic look, in that like you're just trying to get baskets in the ground somewhere, and like that's a good start, and grassroots. And what I mean by that is like Nocali does not have cement tee pads, which we would typically see as a course develops.
Planning on.
Yeah, exactly. So some of those steps are probably moving a little bit slower because everyone's still trying to prove how popular disc golf is and how it can be accepted. So those are a couple of things that I've noticed. One of the cool things that you guys did at Nocali, and this is Fabienne, I believe, there wasn't quite enough room, at least with what was given, to have separate holes for every single hole. So it's 9 baskets with 2 tees.
Yes.
So you play hole 1 to a basket, then you go to a different tee and play hole 2 to that same basket.
Exactly.
So that's unique. I mean, that happens. We have 9-hole courses that do that. But the way you guys designed it was just a limitation that you guys had.
Yeah, and I think it was brilliant by Mariano Figueroa, one of the players. You know Mariano, right?
Probably.
You met him.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
he was there in the tournament.
Okay, then I did.
Sí. And Mariano, Fabian, Eric, Shine.
Yeah.
They and Alex as well.
Yep.
They all design, even before that I had any idea of disc golf. They designed the park. So they had, before the baskets were planted, they used to bring their own basket and plant it and just move it around. So the park only gave us permission for 9 baskets. So they had to design it this way. And I think it was very smart, because I mean, it has fluidity, you know? It just, you go here, then come back, you go there, and then go to the next one, and then it just goes by fast. But it was a pain having to time, how long does it take for a 4 card to finish 2 holes?
Yes.
And then going to a very difficult hole 3, which is the toughest I think in Aucali, and having to time, in between categories. So
certainly your FA2s and your MA2s versus your MPOs and MA50s or whatever and everything in between. Yeah. That was one of the most unique things that I saw this weekend is just that, the timing, because we're used to in a start of this nature, in a tee time start, every 8 minutes or 9 or 10 or 12, whatever it is, you have to remember they need to play hole 1, which by the way is very difficult at 505 feet at par 4.
I birdied it today.
Yeah, you did. So they have to play hole 1, but then they kind of sidetrack over to play 2 back to that basket. And like you said, just that whole timing is very difficult in order for you guys to do it.
But I was so worried because I didn't want to have have people waiting on other backups. Exactly. And I asked every single person at the end of round 1 and round 2, and everyone was like, I did not see anyone behind or in front of me.
All right.
At any point.
The timing, the spacing was good. And it worked out just fine that way.
So
which is awesome. All right. So I know we've been teasing it out real quick because we usually do read off some results.
Oh, yes.
I'll let you do the heavy lifting here. But in MPO, top 3 players, read them off for us.
Yes. So in first place, Andres Carrasco Ivic. Ivic is his nickname and his last name.
Okay.
So
that one's American if I've ever heard it.
Ivic.
You just call him Ivic.
We call him the Fenomeno of Jalisco because he's an amazing player. I mean, he won the Jalisco Open last month, and last year he's been amazing. He's an amazing player. He has both backhand, forehands, tomahawks, putts,
and he just bowled an 800 series a few days ago as well in bowling. We had a long bowling conversation. Anyway,
he did.
So he's your champion, and actually is declining cash, wants to keep his AM status. Or no?
Not anymore.
He decided he wanted it. Oh, I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And next, in second place, we have Fabian Oloarte, our really, really good guy. I was watching the score, the live score in the last round, and they were like this. They were just birdie, par, birdie, par, birdie until hole 16, I think. Fabian bogeyed and Ivic par, I think, or birdie.
Yep.
And then from there, he just went off and won. I mean, he won by 2.
Yeah.
Which
good battle.
It was a really good battle.
And then you had a tie for third.
We had a tie for third. So Rene Loco Espinosa, which is commonly known as the founder of Mexican Disc Golf. He's a great guy. He loves the sport. I mean, look at his PDGA number.
7595. That's a few after Avery Jenkins, for instance, to put that out there. And Renee used to travel around and play quite a bit in along the California Northwest coast as well up there. He had some Steve and Bombarico stories when I was here a few months ago. Certainly one of the greatest guys out there for sure.
He had, for the longest time, the only MPO player with back-to-back aces in a tournament.
Yes.
Until this year, I think. Last year.
That I don't remember, but I know him. Him and I were talking about that. Last year.
And so he was tied in third place with Jeremy Watson, who actually came down from California, from Humboldt Town.
Yep. Humboldt,
California.
Yeah, I think is where he's from.
Humboldt County?
McKinleyville, if that's somewhere in that neighborhood.
But and he came with Juan Bernal, which is the owner of Gira Disc Golf. They live in California, and they have this brand in California with all the Mexican or Spanish or Hispanics living there, which is amazing. I think that's one of our biggest goals, to partner also with people in California, which we know there's a bunch of Mexicans and Latin Americans living there. and playing disc golf,
Yeah.
which I don't know.
Awesome.
I think that's awesome.
Oh, those were your top 3 plus ties there, all winning a little bit of money. Real quick, we'll read off the winner in each other division.
Yeah.
First place, that was a special one as well.
That was
in
amazing.
MA1.
Paulo de la Isla, my brother, congratulations to him on his second MA1 career win.
Mm-hmm.
He had a battle with Jake Negrete, who came in tied for second with Juan de la Peña, who's a really good friend of mine. He's also a film director in Guadalajara. He's an amazing creative guy and happens to be an amazing disc golfer. We call him Juan Burr.
I did not hear that one. Okay.
And when I say we, it's me, basically.
Okay. Hey, that's where nicknames come from. Somebody.
Right?
Yeah.
We just like nicknames, as you can see.
Okay. But
so,
yeah, awesome to see your brother taking it
yes,
down.
It was very special because it was our first tournament as Shaman. It was my first tournament as TD. And he had all these things going on with the tournament and everything. And in hole 17, you've seen that hole.
Yeah.
It's a dead putt to a hazard, and it's a par 4. And he had the putt for birdie, and he had just missed the same putt for birdie on 16. Airballed it completely, and he just sat there. I was like, I wanted to tell him, GP, hold on, you can par this and put pressure on the other guy. But I didn't say anything. I saw him locked in. He made a beautiful putt for birdie, and he just parred hole 18
That's
to get
all I
the
needed.
the first place.
2-stroke win.
See.
Awesome. FA1, there was a little shakeup.
Yeah.
In that our winner came from behind by a stroke, right?
She did. Rosy Quintanar from Chapala, which is another course that you should visit.
Okay.
In another in another point.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. Okay. I'll get there.
But yeah, congratulations to her.
Yep.
She worked both rounds. It's a tough course. Second place, Maria Jose Reyes, who is one of our sponsors of the tournament, the Tequila de Reyes. Thank you so much. And on third place, Cristina Segundo.
Yes.
San Luis Potosi.
Big shout out, Maria, as well, in that not only sponsoring, but being a big part of everything going on in terms of the tequila, and her parents own a distillery. And then she studies and has studied and got her master's in Italy and is playing disc golf over there occasionally. And Rosie, I saw and hung out with her a little bit as well back a few months. Awesome. I recognized and knew all 3 of our FA1 players. So talking about just the community of everybody going around.
Also, Maria Jose, she's the vice president of the Mexican Federation. Of disc golf.
Awesome.
So
I did not know that. So even better. Awesome.
She's up there.
All right, FA50 or MA50.
MA50 was insane. I mean, first place, Alberto Ramirez, our Mexican Federation president.
Yep.
The president of our Mexican Federation of Disc Golf. He was on third until hole 17 or hole 18, I think. It was the last hole he was on third.
Really?
First place was Terry Vidal. And then Victor Martinez. And look at this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you don't want to see that. Yeah, I mean, it was awful. I mean, it's the hazard. That's what it does to you.
The hazard that destroys you. So Alberto, on the last 3 holes, went bogey, par.
Exactly.
Terry Vidal, who I know does a ton of stuff and helps promote golf and gets other things done throughout Mexico. He went bogey, 6x bogey.
Yes.
And Victor, who finished in third on the last 3 holes, went bogey, double bogey.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how things shook up so much in those last 3 holes.
Alberto came to our stand. I was like, I can't believe it. I won. I was like, I can't believe it either.
I just didn't take like 9 bogey strokes in the last 2 holes. Okay, Well, congrats to him.
Congrats
I know.
to him.
Yeah, that's
he
awesome.
was super stoked.
I love to see it. All right, going back, we're gonna move on. We'll see if we can rip through these.
MA2, that was
winner.
a big battle as well. On first place, Matthew Jarbo from San Diego, California.
Yep.
Who happens to be my roommate
Mm-hmm.
also, and it's his first ever win in a tournament in disc golf.
Heck
So
yeah.
that he was so happy, and it's his local course,
Yep.
basically.
Awesome.
And Victor F from Denmark on second place,
Okay.
and Yair Necha from San Luis Potosí. Victor F and Matthew are like big friends, big buddies
awesome.
as well.
We're going first,
So,
second, and third, all by a stroke apiece.
Yeah.
So it was a very tight battle. FA2 and MA3 are our last two. Read off our winner here in the FA2.
FA2, Sofia Mejia, our local. Second place, Ingrid Caltempa. And third place, Ariana Romero, also our local.
Okay.
Sofia Mejia, first place. She started disc golf because she does disc dog.
Disc dog. So as in like training at throw and catch discs or throw and
or it's basically throwing distance
yep.
and having the dog catch the disc as fast as he can. Something like, I don't really know like the exact rules.
Like Ashley whip it and da. Like okay.
But their discs are very similar, are more similar to disc golf than to a frisbee.
Yeah.
Or ultimate or exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's FA2. And on MA3, Sebastian Rocha, aka Tano. Tano, another.
Sebastian,
it's like Thanos.
Sebastian just goes to Dano because that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
like
of
Dano.
course. I love. He just started in February playing disc golf this February, and he's so good. He's from Cuernavaca. He's from Cocoyoc.
Okay.
So that's his local course.
Wow.
Cocoyoc.
Okay.
Second place, Eduardo Castillo from Guadalajara, and Cesar Marquez, who happens to be Fabian's cousin.
Okay.
From Zacatlan, Puebla.
Awesome.
And I love, just a fun fact, the trophies that we gave were a mold of our fuegos, but in ceramic.
Yeah.
And I have a really good friend in Guadalajara who has a ceramic company, and she made it for us. And Sebastian Rocha, our MA3 first place, sent a video 2 days ago, and after he won in a bar, he poured a beer in his trophy. He just chugged it in. I thought it was amazing. It was like a tradition starting.
Okay.
So yeah.
I mean, usually that's very common.
See, like the
when
boots,
when you're given like an actual like liquid vessel, a cup, the Champions Cup, big cup-like things, but to be given a ceramic disc and then say, "Hey, I'm going to just drink beer out of this."
This is what I have. This is what I have to work on.
I guess. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Cheers to Tano.
We've all drinking water out of a disc. Let's be honest. Like you go for whatever reason, you show up to an event and like there's the water cooler there, and you're looking at like, I don't have my water jug, so you fill a little bit into the bottom of a disc. We've all been there.
Yeah,
my dog does as well.
Yeah, your dog does.
If I forget, I just pour some water. My dog is happy.
Awesome. Yeah. From everything I could see, like you said, it was a smashing success. Very difficult for the timing to have 68 people, but on a 9-hole course and just figure out,
Yeah, and the park closes at 6.
Oh,
PM,
I did not know that.
7 p.m. So that's why I was super
started
worried.
early and started early in the morning.
See,
I missed some of those early tea times, but
no, you didn't. What are you talking about? You were there.
Yeah, I was in the woods with a camera. Those are some of the challenges that you guys face, but everything went off really well. Like you said, it seemed like everybody had a good time. Win, lose, or draw. I didn't see any, bad attitudes out there. It looked like a lot of fun. So congratulations.
Thank you
on hosting your first ever event. And really it was a community effort in that as well, right?
100%.
I mean, your name is on the tournament as tournament director, but I saw all four of you, within the company, all four of you doing different things all the time.
We were even the local community the disc golf MX from here, from Ciudad de Mexico, like Alex, Fabian, Eric, Jake, Mariano, they were all big part of this. Like if I had a doubt, Fabian. If I need someone to check the tee on this hole, I had Mariano, even Wally. So it was a big community tournament, and it was a big success for all of us.
Yeah, and I'll add on there one other thing that was really fun about this event was that on Saturday, everybody played Saturday. Immediately after the round on Saturday, you guys had organized that we go over to a local, what was it called again?
Chilos.
Everybody went over there, and fish and shrimp and seafood is their specialty there. Obviously, they had a lot of different things, but those were their specialties. And if there's 68 people in the tournament, I guess we could do the math, but did 60 show up
I guess,
to that restaurant?
I felt that it was
minimum of 50.
See, at least.
So somewhere between 50 to 60 out of the 68 in the tournament all came there, which was awesome because all these different tables, people sharing stories, food, beverages, everything was flowing. Players packs were handed out at that point, which was awesome. But just this opportunity for everyone in the tournament to get together. And we've lost a lot of that. That's why I love these experiences here and in some of the other countries that are just getting started, because you guys still want to get together, you still want to hang out, and obviously you're not best friends with every person in the tournament, but you don't have to be, but you're there and experiencing it all. And in the States, especially with the live scoring and the now tee times being common, it's like I can go to big tournaments even as a media guy and not even see like 10 of the people I really know and like, because I might be on the course from 2 to 6, and they were on the course from 9 to 1, and we never even see each other all weekend.
That's insane.
So
and because they have to leave because they have another tournament in a completely different place, they have to travel.
Yeah, and parties can be hit or miss, as to whether people actually come to them. But for you guys, like everyone's still there, and that's
why Cocoyoc is not an A tier because we prefer to have a party on Saturday.
Okay, that checks out. Yeah, that checks out. That makes sense. So I love it. It's awesome. Is there anything else the world should know? Thank you for all of this info. But is there anything the world should know about Mexico disc golf, or things we should watch for, or things that we absolutely shouldn't miss? Is there anything? What else should we know?
So there's a Latin American Championship.
Okay.
The first Latin American Championship coming on December.
Yep. Okay. Like December 6th and 7th, I think, or is that in November?
I think it was November.
I think it's November.
16, 15 in that area.
In Guatemala.
In Antigua, Guatemala. It's going to be the first Latin American Championship. That's insane.
Yeah. Beautiful course.
I paid my entrance today.
Nice.
So I'll be there. We will be there for sure.
Okay.
And I don't know. I just we have a bunch of Instagrams, social media that we're trying to make. I guess. I don't know. Following us, supporting us, and come to our tournaments. I mean, look at Jeremy. He got a 3rd place.
Yeah, exactly. Jeremy
got some cash in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just to experience the tournaments in Mexico, I would suggest anyone who's listening to this to at least try once, come to any tournament here in Mexico. Yeah, they'll have fun for sure.
I'll say this: if you're not having fun, then you're just not doing it right.
Right?
Exactly. Like you're actively trying to not have fun. Right? Yeah. You're trying to be a stick in the mud or some kind of a-hole if you're coming here and you're not finding a way to have a good time.
It's impossible.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And I'll put in a plug in that Guatemala. I was fortunate enough to go there on my way back from the Macbeth Foundation in Uruguay last year, and stopping in Guatemala and spending a few days there and participating in their tournament, playing that beautiful course that they have. That was again a Macbeth Foundation installation, and Chris and the crew there have done an incredible job there too. So I see this. They're new, they're growing, they're starting, and I see that in all these other communities. And I'm excited if when I do look back in 5 or in 10 years, like, hey, I remember when it was just 4 guys or 10 guys that were doing stuff.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys continue to grow and thrive.
Thank you. Hopefully it'll be that way.
Very cool to see.
This is the way.
Yes. Johnny, do you have any other questions that I didn't hit on that you or maybe the chat that I may have missed out on?
No, I don't think so. I think you guys covered it. It sounds like a phenomenal event, and I'm always jealous when Terry gets to travel, and I have to hear about it on the next Tuesday. So
you have to come next, Johnny.
I would, trust me. I would love to.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very reasonable, and everybody, obviously, when you're going to these new countries and you're hooking up with disc golfers that are providing insights and giving you, kind of where you need to be, things you need to worry about or not worry about, or things you need to partake in, getting all that local insight and knowledge is great. So real quick, to get off of disc golf just for a moment, and you're going to see my Instagram flooded with this hopefully in the next few days. It rained yesterday, so I was a little limited, but today you gave me this incredible suggestion, and some people probably saw a few posts on Instagram. But where did I go today? And give everyone, because I'll just butcher this all later. So you should give everyone a little insight as to what I did today.
So you went to the Chapultepec Castle,
okay,
which is like a big cultural architectonical place in Mexico, which is in the top of the Chapultepec Park in Section 1, and it's historical. It was built in the I think I'm gonna butcher this, but probably the late 1800s,
maybe even earlier,
like maybe? The early 1900s. No, I think
I'm
it was.
Sure I have a picture somewhere, but okay.
Let's see. Probably. I mean, you were there.
Yeah,
instruct me.
I don't know how to read.
I'm not really good with history, but it's a beautiful place. It has a beautiful view, and when it was built, it was the entrance of Mexico City, the capital, and you could see who came in at every single point.
Way up this high point on top of this massive hill, not quite a mountain, but on top of this, certainly this high elevation point, beautiful castle overlooking everything, as you were just saying, and it was a beautiful mix, because I'm not overly artistic and or historic, but this was like this beautiful mix of keeping it really interesting.
Yeah.
And then seeing, these rooms and what's in there, and then stained glass, and then there's just the view. The view itself, amazing. You're essentially in the highest natural point of the area, outside of being in one of the skyscrapers. You're in the highest natural spot. And so you're able to walk around all the different sides of it. It was well worth the 100 pesos that it cost me.
So expensive.
A little bit. I mean, you had to hike up it, but other than that, it was well worth the
hike.
Pesos.
It's a hike.
I was excited about I can't wait to walk back down this. That'll be a lot more comfortable. It is a very gradual hike, and I'll add to that. Unless you travel here, you maybe do or don't know or realize we're already at elevation here in Mexico City. And so the fact that I was in New Mexico last week, I thought, for 5 or 6 days, hiking up and down mountains at 6,500 to 7,500 feet, where we're at now is almost similar elevation.
What is it in feet?
Well, it's about, I was at anywhere from 6,500 to 7,500, which is, is that 2,200 meters roughly? What are you guys at here?
It's
7,349. Yeah. So basically 7,300 feet here. So I was just as high, this entire week as I was in New Mexico.
That's insane.
And so, it's just different. And of course, you get acclimated and whatever.
Also, disc very different. Here.
Yeah, much more stable, which is the same conversation we had last week with playing in New Mexico.
There you go.
We talked to Nate Sexton and others. Disc fly very differently when you're at elevation. So
it's insane.
Yeah, but it was a beautiful place to be, and thank you for the suggestion.
We're very happy to have you. Harry.
Thank you.
So-
Thank you. I got another suggestion. I'm going to quickly share it. I got a
Yes.
suggestion, some tower, some architectural tower, maybe. Does that sound right? Let's see if I can find it for you real quick.
A tower.
I think it sounds like it's
La Torre Latinoamericana, yeah.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. yeah, whatever. Like, of
I
course.
just love it when you say it because I'm going to butcher that. But
That for the longest time, that was the highest skyscraper in Latin America. Yeah. And right now, there's a higher one in, what was the name? In Coyoacán, the place that we were talking about
okay.
the other day.
Yep.
It's right. But yeah, this is.
And that's nearby? Is that something I can Uber to?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually maybe walking distance from me.
Okay. I walked back today.
There you go.
That was an easy little walk. It was.
See.
I'm getting my steps in here. I love it.
Oh,
Just
yes.
walking around the city.
It's beautiful.
It is, and I think that's maybe again one of the takeaways of coming here, being able to spend an extra couple days and being able to actually just walk around. Knowing the neighborhoods and checking things out where you want to be, where you maybe don't want to go, but when you are in the right place, there's just absolutely so many beautiful things.
Also in the Chapultepec, we actually play disc golf in the park in that section, but we bring our baskets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it felt like
beautiful.
There's dozens. I don't know if there's hundreds of acres, but there's dozens of acres, and I kept thinking, like, what, you guys have a course here, but that's where you guys bring baskets.
See, that's where we bring it. We are.
So
working
can it happen?
on, yeah.
And can you get a permanent course there? Are you guys working on it?
That's what we're working on. Yeah, because section 1. The thing is about section 1. There's 4 sections in Chapultepec Park, which is bigger than the New York.
The Central Park.
Central Park. Yeah.
Wow.
So there's 4 sections. Section 1 is where the castle is where the Museum of Anthropology is, and it's protected by the UNESCO.
Okay.
And so there's some things that you cannot do. In one of them is you cannot
dig or make posts probably, or put in a structure.
Exactly. But what we're trying to do is that there's a lot of trees that are cut down or fallen, that we can put the basket there, and that's how we play it. We put the baskets on top of the cut down trees, and we don't have to dig. Because it's basically
what a workaround,
right?
Yeah. Nature did the digging.
Exactly. Nature did the digging.
I can dig it. Okay. Well, very cool. Yeah, that park is absolutely beautiful, and again, I think of the cultural interactions that you can have from bringing people here, having a tournament there, but then being in one of the coolest spots in all of Mexico City. It's just such an easier sell for so many more people.
I know.
For not just for the players, but then also maybe a family or a vacation or spouses or whoever who may not make disc golf their top priority. As silly as that sounds, but some people don't apparently.
Yeah,
okay.
That's weird.
We got to backtrack for a second. Where would we see you in American movies or commercials and or shows? Where
so
somebody's gonna say I recognize that guy.
That guy. He looks like Pedro Pascal. No,
that was already said on the board. Someone said,
on the board.
Someone said you look like Pedro Pascal, and I was like, he looks like a younger version, a much better looking younger version.
Thank you. No, but people have told me that in the U.S. there's a movie that one of my best friends, Memo Noriega, who's a screenwriter, he wrote, and we produced. Well, one of our friends produced it, and I'm in it, and it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
In the U.S., and it's called Back to Lila.
Back to Lila.
Back to Lila. Yeah.
Okay.
And Lila is Hassie Harrison, who's right now having a big. He was in Yellowstone.
Okay.
And she's right now in Cannes in the festival in France with a big movie that she is getting a big reviews.
Okay.
Like good reviews. So yeah, Back to Lila on Amazon Prime. I don't know if it's in the US, but Pancho Villa.
Pancho Villa
is like one of the revolutionaries from the 1920s here in Mexico earlier. It's a TV show that they make.
Okay.
But yeah, in commercials in the US, probably commercials, because a lot of US companies come to film in Mexico.
Okay.
And it's broadcast in the US. So.
Sure. All right. And so, I again, this could be a whole separate podcast. We won't go too far. But are you always actively looking then for more roles? Is that you're often auditioning, or do people just call you? Where?
So both things. I have a manager who gives me my auditions and everything. I have a commercial agency who gives me just like commercial auditions and everything. And I was working on Friday the whole day. I was working on a commercial for Uber Eats, and one day before the tournament I was going crazy, but it worked out. It worked out.
Awesome.
So yeah, in that particular commercial, the director contacted me. He was like, "Hey," because we've worked together before.
Sure.
And so yeah. So
I'm a little nervous. First of all, I didn't have you sign anything. Second of all, we don't pay you or any of our guests, unfortunately. And then lastly, I ask you to show up, and I ask you to bring the beer. I don't even provide the beer.
I'm basically paying for the Wi-Fi as well. So,
you're not going to get in any trouble being on our little disc golf podcast.
Not at all.
Here.
It's an honor. It's amazing to be here.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Johnny,
Oh,
for
of
agreeing
course.
with this. So
You're the first movie star we've had on the show.
there you go. Thank you.
Yeah, that says something, which is awesome. I don't know if you are trying to cut loose, or if you want to read through some of the other normal stuff we go through on the weekend.
Yeah, I would love
from
to.
Johnny, do we want to get to some of the other normal topics and conversations that we have, and we'll see where we can chime in. You nor I were actively involved with any of the regular tournament stuff this weekend.
So you were busy, but
I didn't pay a lot of attention. So.
But Esteban, you said you watch all of usually the live broadcasts, and did you get a chance to watch the Cascade Challenge?
I just finished it today.
Oh, see?
You know way more than Johnny or I probably.
Yeah,
because I didn't watch any of it.
No, it was insane.
It was. I watched the end of the MPO. We'll talk about MPO right away. Okay. It was honestly pretty insane the way Simon was making that comeback against Anthony Barella. And you can attest to this, he was getting every good break you could imagine. Like, it was, at one point, I just said, I can't root for Simon anymore because I love watching Simon win, but I can't root for him watching AB pure these fairways and Simon kiss off trees and land closer to the basket than AB is. It was frustrating, but so kind of magical.
It was. I mean, those lines, I don't know, AB, I think I was watching it in Jomis and they were saying like, he's just a cheat code.
Yeah.
Walking like a cheat walk distance player. Like, it's insane. Insane how he throws.
Yeah, just to be able to throw so many discs so straight for so long, which clearly, if everyone talks about wooded golf, technical golf, I have no idea how the actual broadcast went as well. I know at one point when I was out there doing the Q series last year, there was a concern. Obviously, I was just doing posts, but there was a concern about one section of the course that didn't have great signal. Maybe that was fixed or is no longer a thing, or was an issue this weekend. But lots of technical lines out there. And I'm so glad that I got to see that course for myself last year. So although I didn't watch any of it, I can imagine what was required because we filmed 3 rounds of it last year, MPO and FPO. And it seems like, is it fair to say it was a resounding positive response there? Or did we catch anyone saying, hey, this is too tight or too much?
I didn't hear any of that. And I think this course, I'm not 100% sure. I think they lengthened it about 1,000 feet from last year is what I thought I heard. Or maybe it was 1,000 feet from 2 years ago or something. But
well,
no,
yeah, because they were going to put in a brand new hole that added like 600 or 700 feet in itself.
Yeah, I think hole 12, the 1,100-foot hole, which I will say it looked like a fine hole, but as you can imagine, just like 12 at Northwood Black, it was a backup. There was an hour-long backup on that hole.
Okay.
So much like the I would say if there was a complaint about the event, it was that. Just that the backup on 12, 13, and maybe 14 even, just because it kind of trickled out a little bit, was a little bit much, and they need to make some adjustments. And I believe maybe it was Jeff Corns that had come on and said, we understand, this was the first year for this particular hole, the way it was designed, and we are going to make some adjustments. So that's good to see. But yeah, Anthony Brella ends up pulling this out by 2 strokes in the long run over Simon Lizotte. In third place, Ricky Wysocki. He was kind of making a run towards the end. He just, he just ran out of holes. Honestly, it's he missed one shot on 18, which had he made that, because I think he was in the group. I believe he was tied for 4th, but I think he was on the chase card, and he didn't exactly know what was going to happen. So he was a little disappointed on how he finished on hole 18, but ultimately, overall, a good event, taking 3rd place. Kyle Klein bubbling up on the leaderboard. We haven't really seen much of him in the top 5 this year, but he played an awfully good event. Gannon Burr as well, 5th place. 6th place, Paul Macbeth, tied with Eagle McMahon. Eagle, he loves the Pacific Northwest. That guy always seems to play well up there. So I think we can kind of keep an eye on him for the next DGPT event in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah. This upcoming weekend, I believe, go throw.
He's having a...
No, well, technically, this
kayak
weekend is Konapish Day, which is a DGPT event.
Oh, yeah, which some of the players are flying over to, right?
Yeah, I think I saw a handful of U.S. players are flying over, and then I know any of the Europeans that were left here, I think, like Niklas, he's flying over there, and I'm guessing he's maybe staying. I don't think he's flying over and back, but I can't be certain of that because I didn't look at the Elite Plus event registration yet. 8th place, Ezra Robinson tied with Cole Radalin. This is the first time we've really mentioned Cole's name this year. And he is a Pacific Northwest guy, so I wouldn't be shocked if we're mentioning his name in the next few weeks as well. So that's your...
Yeah, and that's top 10?
Well, technically, Ty Love, Luke Taylor, and Isaac Robinson all tied for 10th.
Okay. I think some would probably be a little surprised you didn't see Isaac finish a little better just because it's nice technical woods golf. Although we all know if you're sometimes off just by a little bit on a weekend, that can immediately turn things sideways real quick. He
crapped the bed in the final round. If you want to put it that way.
He was playing really well.
He was lights out, and then until the final round, him and both Ezra Aderhold. Ezra, I think maybe was he in first place going into that final round?
He was leading at one point.
He was.
Yeah, I know he was leading at one point. I couldn't remember if he was exactly in first place or second place going into the final round.
Okay.
And then, Isaac just shot. I mean, as we know, with a wooded course, you get off a little bit, a couple bad kicks, and that's the end of your day. And that's what happened to Isaac. He just couldn't get the birdies on the back 9. So he only shot a 1 down, which dropped him down 6 places down to 10th place. And like I said, Ezra Aderhold, who shot a 2 over the final round, he dropped down 12 places from 1st to 13th. So Ezra, unfortunately, is starting to get the moniker of like kind of folding in the final round of these big events. He seems to have all the skills. He gets there and then just can't put that final nail in the coffin to close out his events. And it was about the 6th hole you stopped seeing him in coverage.
Yeah,
it was just he just kind of just plateaued and maintained. So didn't get any.
Yeah, I mean, even just scrolling down again, I didn't see it, but just scrolling down and seeing 66 was his total round, which is still rated over 1,000, but that looked like one of the worst rounds out of the top 20 guys or so, maybe even more so. Yeah, Marweed fell back with a 66 as well, but his 66 was one of the worst rounds out there out of the top 25 guys. So real quick, because I'm into that, Klein celebrated a birthday this weekend as well. So it was pretty cool to have. You just said it. We haven't seen his name a lot this year. He hasn't been, playing up to what he feels are his capabilities. So it seems like maybe that kicks you in the right direction. A little birthday celebration, and then having a really solid finish, just barely off the podium. So congrats to him.
And then we'll go over to FPO.
FPO action.
Missy Gannon just crushes the field on the final round. She shot a 10:35 rated final round, like unstoppable. Just hit every line, hit almost every putt. I'm looking at her stats right now for the final round. She had she was 2 out of 5 on her Circle 2 putts. I'm looking C1X, 5 out of 6 C1X. But just, look at it this way: her C1X was only 5 out of 6.
Yeah,
and she had. Which means she's parking. She's literally like parking holes. And that is an amazing. Looking at her tap-ins, 6 feet, 7 feet, 5 feet, 7 feet, 9 feet. Like, these are all, a pretty good shot. So anyway, 10:35 rated final round. To come back, she was in second place going into that final round by 2 strokes to Paige Pierce. And when you get beat, you get beat. That's all you can say. It's not like, Paige put up a horrible round. She put up a 2 down, which, was kind of about course average for a lot of the women at the top of the field. Second place was Owen Scoggins, tied with Paige Pierce as well. They both shot 7 under for the event. Fourth place, Rebecca Cox, who was in the lead as well for a while. I think after the first round, she shot the hot first round and then just couldn't maintain. But ultimately, a top 5 finish is nothing to scoff at. Fifth place, Holland Hanley and Raven Klein. Seventh place, Danny Cleiden. I think it's Clyden. Okay, thank you, Danny Clyden. Danny, honestly, watching her play, she got on coverage quite a bit this weekend, and it was fun to watch her play because I haven't really seen much of her on footage. You always hear or read her name, but we haven't got a chance to see her much. So Danny getting on coverage and just a real solid driver of the disc, to be honest. Eighth place, Anniken Sten, tied with Hannah Wynn. And in 10th place, Sarah Hokum. And again, Sarah's name we don't mention much in FPO anymore, but these are the type of courses where she decides to kind of play up now, I guess. It's hard to say play up when she's still a top-rated FPO player, but she's more in the media and FP40, and she doesn't necessarily prefer the longer courses. She likes these wooded tracks.
Yeah, I see that she had a pretty clean round, which, she's nicknamed the Queen of Clean and all that. Just a little bit lacking in the birdies. And I feel like that's exactly what happened to Rebecca Cox. Had a lot of pars, only 1 bogey, so a pretty clean round during her final round. But just, you look at her round 3 where she had 3 birdies compared to, the 6, 7, or 8 that she got the previous couple of rounds. So she kept it clean, but obviously not enough birdies to try and keep pace with someone like Missy, who put together 10 birdies. At one point, Missy, rattled off 5 out of 6, of which Rebecca parred all 5 or all 6 of those. So it's easy to see where some of that separation comes in. But Rebecca's name, yet again, one we're talking about, more and more frequently. And I'll say the same, even though she dropped 5 spots during the final round. Hannah Wynn, same idea. We've been seeing and talking about Hannah more and more for these last few weekends as well. So she's clearly, things are clicking for her, and she's feeling good about her game overall, that we're seeing her up in the mix a little bit more frequently. So very cool to see.
To put a little bit in perspective for Rebecca Cox, she was 8 down at one point. If you look at through halfway through the second round, she was just cruising right along, and then just absolutely hit kind of a roadblock.
Or that backup.
Every player has to deal with it, but some players know how to deal with it better. And you're right, because that is a difficult hole, which is why there's a backup. You have to hit a pretty tight gap off the tee on hole 12 to start out with. It's not even like it's just a tough hole. It's a tough hole from start to finish. So,
somebody was just talking about our nicknames, so not to change the name that I changed our podcast to for the night.
Okay.
You're exactly right, and all I'll put my final pin on that is you're exactly right about waiting for the backups and then the challenge. On top of that, these are the courses where that bad kick, I see someone hit and like 200 feet the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
If somehow you don't hit a tree, you could be, fighting to even find a fair way to get back out to. And I'm so glad I had the experience of seeing that course in person last year, because I can appreciate those nasty kicks and turning a good looking drive that just barely clips a tree, and next thing you know, you're scrambling for bogey. I think that can happen pretty often out there. So I'm guessing there was plenty of that this weekend.
Yeah, there's
all right. And then there's some other conversation. Of course, LVC was a big conversation piece because plenty of players were down there. In fact, maybe even some surprises that you didn't see the likes of a Calvin Heimberg, for instance, out in Washington, and instead was in a place like LVC. You got that pulled up?
I'm actually pulling it up right now. I was looking at a different event, but yes, the Las Vegas Challenge, which is that's some of one. That's the other thing I would say about the Cascade real quick, is one of the things that people had kind of, I don't want to say looked down on it, but just the spot in the calendar being right before this, there's nothing you can do about it. And having the Las Vegas Challenge kind of pull some of our top pros for the Las Vegas Challenge, it made the Cascade not quite feel as big, but we had most of the top 10 there. I think there was 3 or 4 players. Maybe it was just 3 players out of the top 10 even.
I was going to say who?
Matty O, Calvin Heimberg, and I believe, was there another? Maybe it's just 2 then. Maybe it's just those 2 of the top 10. Yeah. I mean, Bradley Williams was there, and we'll go through the winners. In fact,
Double G was there. I get it. Clearly, there was a little separation of, a little division. I understand that, but it felt like the Cascade Challenge still had what you would expect.
Primarily, yeah. But winning the Las Vegas Challenge was Calvin Heimberg, shooting 33 under par. He started out with a 10-14 rated round, and then. Ouch. Yeah, and then decided just to kind of pick it up. 1064, 1088, and 1060 to come storming back and win. He was 6 strokes behind the leader, Emerson Keith, after the first round. Second place, Emerson Keith, who shot a 1065 rated first round, 1041, 1058, and unfortunately kind of bookended Calvin's first round with his bad fourth round, a 1019 rated fourth round. They went into that final round, I believe Emerson was down by 1 and ended up losing by 6. But third place, Cupcake, Jacob Curtis. There's a good nickname. No, we don't call him like Jay Courts or something. We call him Cupcake.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a great nickname.
And great nickname. Fourth place, Bradley Williams. And Terry, what was his old nickname?
Yeah. He used to have one that he has outgrown.
He
which
has
I can
outgrown
appreciate.
it. But yeah, he had a
it wasn't the
cactus
nicest
nickname. He had a cactus nickname. He was a little prickly, is what people said. And fifth place, Paul Oman and Dallas Garber. That's your top 5 at the Las Vegas Challenge for MPO. Going down over to FPO.
John, did you hear Las Vegas Challenge? Both MPO and FPO were covered, and I was told that the MPO coverage didn't come out yet because they're still editing Jacob's routine. Did you hear that?
I've heard rumors to that, but I don't believe they're true.
I'm just being a dick, but I am. No, but it really does bring me to my actual point. Silly joke aside, I love and appreciate, and was confused by initially, that Gatekeeper and Las Vegas Challenge agreed that it would. I think they're calling it next week coverage or delayed coverage, whatever phrase they're using. I have no problem with that. In fact, I'm all in favor of it. It's clear that when you're running a big event, no matter how big it is, if you're also running it up against another huge event like the Pro Tour, your coverage is probably going to get, I don't want to say suppressed, but maybe overlooked and or usually not as aggressively eyeballed, if that's a thing. It's not going to get watched quite as much. So from a strategic standpoint, I 100% love and appreciate the idea of delaying it. It also makes things a lot less stressful on the gatekeeper guys who are doing MPO and FPO filming. Like, actually, I just love everything about it. The only thing I don't love about it is that I didn't know that was a possibility. And what I mean by that is, at one point, it was brought to my attention about maybe even bidding on the idea of covering Las Vegas. And I had very little to almost no interest in doing a next day turnaround or even capability of MPO and FPO and covering that for 4 straight days and having next day releases. That was my impression, at least, that I was given, considering the circumstances. Now, in hindsight, the fact that I had nothing to do with LVC and then it was the open weekend to be in Mexico, like, I am not complaining in any way, shape, or form. This is all a selfish conversation.
Boo-hoo. But, I had to go to I had to go to beautiful Mexico City.
Again, I'm not complaining, but I was shocked that was an option because I did not realize delayed coverage was an option. So maybe not knowing is what ultimately still got me here. Well, and plus I had no inkling I was going to get a bid or whatever, but when I was presented with the idea of possibly them needing coverage, I didn't know delayed coverage was an option. And for all the reasons I just said, I love it and it makes perfect sense. So
I'm just curious as to when this coverage is going to come out and what's it going to be up against, because it's still going to be up against a DGBT event in Konopiste, an event that a lot of people really like the course. It's a beautiful course. Yeah, but even if I don't know what their schedule is. I don't know if it's Wednesday through Friday. If Konopiste is going to be a little weird with the timing, probably. That's exactly what I'm. And who's doing post production of Konopiste? Is it going to be Jomez on Jomez's channel?
Probably MDG.
I mean, it's probably still a DGBT event, so I'm. That's why I'm curious as to are they going to take the footage? Are they going to have the Jomez guys put their graphics on? There's a lot of things I'm really interested about this year. But you're right; it's probably going to be. I don't know any of that.
MGD, and maybe they wait till Konopiste is done, and then the 4 days after that they release it all. Yeah. I'm all in favor of whenever, whatever. I just didn't realize that was even an option. So,
I look forward to figuring that out.
We've got FPO.
FPO. Jennifer Allen beats her sister, Katrina Allen. Oh, it's not her sister. No. Jennifer Allen takes down Katrina Allen by 5 strokes. Jen Allen dropping a 10.02 rated first round, followed up with a 9.69, a 9.72, and a 9.86. So playing well above her player rating. That's going to help her out in the future. I have a good feeling. Katrina Allen, like I said, 17 under par for second place. Third place, Sophia Donachie. In fourth place, Shelly May Lai. I think it's Lai, right? I mess it up every week. Every week, Terry. Shelly May is going to join us on our.
No habla español.
No habla español. Yeah. She's going to come on the show and correct me, and I'll still mess it up. I promise. And in fifth place, Lisa Fajakis? Lisa Fakis. I figure if I'm going to mess up Shelly May's name, I should mess up somebody else's. So Lisa Fakis.
Yeah. Perfect.
It's only fair.
I'll just chime in real quick. Congrats. Obviously, Jen, literally the week before, wins in New Mexico at a Masters championship, taking down a Masters major. There was a little conversation about, not having enough Masters to field, to make a field or to really field an FP40 division at Vegas. They were talking about it in New Mexico. And the next thing you know, it's just this, it's, understandably a big a big FPO field, or in 17 of them. But I know of, without calling them out, 1, 2, 3. I know of at least 3, maybe 4 of the women that could be eligible for FP40. So to see Jen, skip the FP40 and not have any part of it to be part of the FPO division and then still take it down. Congrats to her. So. Not too shabby couple of back-to-back weekends for her in terms of playing some good golf.
Nate Sexton back-to-back. He won the MP40.
Exactly.
So, both those guys. Nate, who had never touched the MP40 division, now goes back-to-back wins.
Undefeated.
So he's undefeated in MP40. He's found his home.
Yeah, and a couple of great names I see there in MP40, including Super. He's got a nickname that doesn't make any sense. His nickname's just Super. For David.
David Jordan.
Yeah, so Josh Johnson, Steve Rico.
Nice.
I mean, Steve Rico's name is Little Spoon, so
that's true. His nickname is My Little Spoon. So that's another story for another day. You haven't been around disc golf long enough. Well,
I need to learn many things, I guess.
And real quick, I don't remember every detail, but the short version is, now that it's public, Jay Redding was involved in a serious car accident a few weeks ago. They didn't really make too much of it public. I think he has since then. That's the reason him and Des were not playing in New Mexico, although they did arrive there. And so to see him have the weekend that he did, I think he said maybe it still wasn't quite up to his expectations, but just, another revived, what's the word I'm looking for? Loving life and knowing that he's alive and blessed, feels blessed to be where he is and doing what he's doing, but then comes back and has a second place finish this weekend. So pretty cool to see out there for Jay. And of course, seems to be on full recovery, but I know that was pretty significant what they went through. So good to see that things are on the mend for him. At least well enough to finish in second.
Yeah, exactly. We'll run through real quick some of the other events. I will say, in Latin America, I think you need to work on your event names. They're not nearly long enough. The Yeet Street Discs presents the 24th Tar Heel Open, fueled by bricks, wood, fired pizza, and craft bar.
Oh my God.
.com.
Yeah,
that is a nickname.
Yeah, you need to shorten that to something.
Yeah.
No doubt. Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Taking this down, perfect. Grady Shue, kind of the local in the area. 1024 rated guy, but he shoots a 1041, a 1090, and a 1070. So just, I swear to God, that guy's got more untapped potential than maybe any other player. And when it comes out in droves. So he wins by 7 strokes over Brandon Brown and Harper Thompson. Over on the FPO, Paige Shue, his wonderful wife, wins this by 2 strokes over Ariel Walker. So congratulations to those two. That's a nice husband-wife
What's a
win.
good word for a shoe sweep?
Shoe sweep.
I mean, Paige and Grady both winning. It's a shoe sweep.
Like they won by
They both won.
a lot of strokes?
Just meaning they sweep, meaning like they won both divisions. Like there was two divisions they could both be in. They both won, so you swept.
Okay.
It might be a little bit of a stretch, but could we call that like they cobbled together the win?
Yeah, that's
like a cobbler and the shoe, and that's all I'm going with. That's all I have. It's a stretch.
We need something better.
I'm not saying we don't, but until you find something, Terry.
All right. Good thing I've got these new mics because I'm going to go retrieve some beers. Keep talking.
All right. The Prodigy Disc Pro Tour 2025 #1 in Vasa over in Finland. Lauri Lettinen wins this by 3 strokes over Savri and Milo. I'm not even trying those last names. So congratulations. And MPO. Well, this is good because this is actually Lauri Lettinen's comeback. He kind of was off the scene for a little while. And I believe I'm going to tap on his player this year. I think this is his first event this year. So he comes out and shoots some pretty hot rounds, 1073, 1039, and 1077. So well above his, in general, player rating. Maybe he's kind of found what exactly he's looking for, and he can play. In FPO, we're going to talk about Neda. Wins this one, Neda Lapajo. Yeah, massacring it. In second place, yes, that does say Lida. And in third place, Yenny. So congratulations to the FPO field on winning and cashing. Good. Let's get
awesome.
Let's bring it back over to this side.
You want to get stateside so we can
bring it back to stateside just a little bit. Prodigy presents
Some
Lake Marshall
Jeremy
Open,
from
the pro
Williams.
field in Virginia. Oh my gosh. Harry Chase wins this over Braden Sides. Third place, Zach Arlinghouse. And in the FPO field, there was only a field of 2. MJ Gager?
Okay.
Gager. I'm going to go with Gager. And wins over Kayla Hess. So there you go.
All right. Well, big friend, as I see him usually more international than not these days. Shasta Chris taking down over at the Santa Cruz Masters Cup Masters and age protected divisions this weekend. So big shout out. Shasta Cruz ultimately taking it down this weekend. So love to see that. And Jenna Johnson took down the FP40 division. So congrats to both of them. I know that's age protected, but hey, we're getting older here, Johnny.
We've always said nobody cares about the Masters.
Okay.
But
well,
that's not true.
I do.
We all do.
I'll also throw out real quick that I don't, because I was out in a castle today. I didn't see what got posted, but if not today, very soon we are going to see final announcements for the PDGA Asia, Southeast Asia Tour that's going to be finalizing some details. I made the mistake of staying up till 4 a.m. to jump on a Zoom call with people from the Philippines, China, Thailand, and Taiwan last night, or this morning, whatever you call it. And we are in final stages to see a 2026 Southeast Asia Tour consisting of 7 or 8 events. I already forgot. I'm tired. But working on all the details, the plans, the final, what's the word I'm looking for? Elements to make it all up, all the rules for it or whatever, all the guidelines and regulations and whatnot. So anyway, I thought it would be announced today. It doesn't seem like it has been just yet.
I have not seen it.
Will probably be, yeah, okay. It'll be announced very soon. Worst case scenario, it will be out by next week. So people always talk about, hey, when is Thailand? When are some of these other events that they see me and others going to, Shasta Chris and others? All of that is laid out. The schedule's been set and super excited to announce it. Hopefully we see more people trying some of these international events. And now there's an entire point series that's going to be officially tacked onto it. So there must have been a few final details that needed to get clarified today yet. Otherwise, I think we'll see that announcement in the next few days. So excited to talk about that. Spoiler alert. Thailand is going to have a couple of great stops for sure. So invite you back. Are you going to come?
I'll see you there.
You don't need
for
to,
sure.
I mean, but like you have beautiful weather year round here. This great budding community. Do you aspire to go see?
Oh, I would love to travel to Thailand to play disc golf. I mean,
Okay.
That's a dream.
How about a place like that we're going to see plenty of this year? Estonia, Finland, Sweden.
yes.
Do all of those interest you as well?
100%.
Okay.
100%. I've watched all the European
Okay.
tour and it's amazing. I mean, the courses are beautiful, and I have friends in Europe, so it'd be nice to. Hey, they don't like disc golf, but I do.
you could drag them out.
I'll drag
you
them
could get
for
them to play.
sure.
And then next thing you know, they'll be hooked. And yeah,
That's how you do it.
That's exactly how you do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
perfect.
but I would love to go.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. Well, the dates will be released. I'll tell you offline. The dates will be released soon.
DM me.
But yeah, super excited. It's crazy to think. Obviously, it's only the middle-ish of May, and events that come up in early January and February and such, like we're in that timing stage of having to put it together. It feels crazy that it's so far out, but really it's not. So I commend everyone over there in Southeast Asia who already has all their act together and then some in order for us to be as organized as it's going to be. I absolutely love to see it. So anything else crazy in disc golf news this weekend, Johnny, that you saw?
I don't believe so. It was kind of quiet. I think maybe it's because the players were split up. Maybe it was just everyone was interested in what was going on in Cascade and Las Vegas, and obviously, Mexico. Clearly, everyone,
Now they know.
You got it.
That's right. I mean, people are chomping at the bit for the fuego. So
as they should be. They should be.
How many, Terry, are you going to be able to fit into your suitcase for the way home?
Right now, and this is going to have to force me to come back and make some deals with them. Right now, I just have this one, which is, I'm not even going to let anyone throw, myself included, because I feel so honored. I was gifted one of the earliest ever off the line last year
in
Cocoyoc.
Yeah.
And that was a very special note and was very cool. And then so to see this with the official stamp on it and everything else, like this is going to go, shocker, into the collection. I'm going to hoard this one. But like I said, that just gives me more incentive to work with these guys to get my hands on some, and then potentially get them to other people in the U.S. and beyond.
That'll be amazing.
We'll have to once we get them, we're going to have to turn a couple of them into some SmashBoxx giveaways as well.
Yeah.
Our weekly giveaways. We give away something every week. And it seems fitting that we
oh my god, that'd be amazing,
giving some of these away at some
for
point.
sure.
So I don't
too many, because I might want to
that.
keep a few of them for my backyard putter.
That too.
I'm always looking for good putters.
And I think it's illegal. We won't tell anyone. If Maria wants to sponsor, who's on the board wants to sponsor any more tequila giveaways, we could probably make that. We could make that happen as well.
So you do know tequila.
I learned the word this weekend.
Okay.
And I saw a shop actually down the road named Tequila. Tequila is a city. Isn't that where
it is?
Somebody lives there.
It is.
I was looking at somebody's profile this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maria Jose.
Okay. She lives in Tequila. Okay, that's what I thought.
She lives in Guadalajara, but she is from Tequila. There you go.
That's really strange, Terry. I've known you a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I vaguely remember. Vaguely now, because of the tequila. I think you've drank tequila before in the past. I think you have. I think I believe it
tried to
involved
square it off at the 1998 Packer game, Super Bowl. That's when the hiatus began.
Yeah. I believe it involved some salt and some lime as well, but I'm saying I do vaguely recall some things from college.
Does that go together for some reason? I don't know.
I don't know, but the quick backstory is 98 Packers Super Bowl game. Me and another good buddy, film guy actually, at college, thought it would be smart every time there was a score, and it ended up being a pretty high scoring affair for that Packer game. And I swore off. I don't think I had tequila for like a good 10 years after that. Yeah. It was, and of course, we were in college, so it was like $6,
it's the worst tequila. Yeah.
Worst stuff ever.
That's probably not tequila.
It wasn't real tequila. It's
whatever it was not. It was not. So I legitimately did not have it for more than a decade. But now in Mexico, I don't want to be offensive.
Of course,
it's
more about
for
that.
You. It's for you guys more than me.
It's more for us, for culture representation.
Yep.
Obviously not for you.
What's the silliest thing? Here's a question for you. What's the silliest thing you see that's maybe tied to, I'll say culture, but then also like disc golf? Is there any kind of thing that you're like, why do those Americans do that? Like when we're disc golfing, like you see some of the mannerisms in live or in post. Is there anything that maybe doesn't get done here?
I mean, plenty of things, but on the top of my head, I cannot think of something.
Here's one. I don't know if it's an example. I don't know if it's a full example, but this weekend, as I kind of slowly spectated and walked around, you guys throw quick. You don't F around. There's a lot of, there's some slower and more methodical players, but most of the people saw their shot and threw. And that, I got to tell you, we have, because of the coverage, because of the media, I see every single weekend, everywhere I go, all around the country, a lot of players emulating some of our top pros, understandably, because they're throwing, incredible lines and doing great things. But then they copy their mannerisms. And some people copy even the slowest of mannerisms. And so this weekend is my point. In fact, I thought you guys were, by and large, very quick. Yeah. And that's something that just jumped out at me.
I was just thinking about, that could be one of the things that we don't do. Or if we do it, very, very slightly.
Yeah.
You know, like check. Okay, I'm going this way. Let's go.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, and I'm not suggesting like, hey, don't even think, just get up there and throw quickly. You're on a timer. I'm not suggesting that, but it's something that just in general, it felt like people were prepped and ready to throw. Sometimes even to the point where somebody doesn't stop moving or whatever. And distractions. You guys handle distractions pretty well as also.
I don't know if you saw that, but we were presenting Tuiri Vidal.
Yeah.
We're like, and from Chapala, and he was throwing his t-shirt. I was like, that was Terry. Another Terry.
Yes.
But yeah, it was really fun but yeah, we do throw fast.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that.
I'm also saying that's a compliment on top of things as a video and media guy. I'll say that as a compliment as well. So
I remember watching the Cocoyoc footage, and you were saying like sometimes you couldn't catch Freddy Mesa.
Yeah. Freddie.
Because he throws so fast. There you go.
Yeah.
He's from Mexico.
There you go. What are the conversations you guys have with Freddie? What's his relationship to, I've seen him play here a number of times, but he's not here. He lives in Texas.
Yeah.
But is he coming back for other family, or what's do you know what his relationship or ties are?
I don't really know much. I know he has really good friends here with Raúl, Barceló, with everyone in Cocoyoc.
Yeah.
We all love Freddy. But I know he lives there, and he sometimes plays the Pro Tour tournaments. But yeah, he comes when he can.
Sure.
When he can, and yeah, he loves to. I'm pretty sure he'd love to visit anytime he can.
Yeah. Is there? I was going to say there's got to be some sense of pride in him being out there and seeing him on the largest stage. He's clearly a player that's been talked about that's had solid performances. Do you feel like could you name anyone else that you feel is striving to kind of break through to take disc golf to playing in the Pro Tour and all of that? Is there anyone off the top of your head that you feel like has been, you see that in them and you think that's possible?
That I think definitely Ivic.
Okay,
he could definitely, at some point play in some tournaments.
For sure.
But yeah, there's a bunch of Pibe played you met Pibe, right? Saldana with the curly hair, MPO. He's a really good player. He played the amateur last year.
Okay.
The amateur
Worlds. Yeah. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I think he finished really in a really good position. He did a great tournament. He could definitely be up there for sure.
How long before you can skip this acting stuff and go on the tour?
It's just acting. It just keeps me from practicing my lines and my putts,
He's got to do the Fantastic Four sequels. He's gonna have to do the Mandalorian. He's gonna have to do maybe
The Last of Us.
Maybe Mexican Last of Us.
At some point I gotta do one of his, I don't know, brother, cousin in a movie. Or younger him.
That's right. Yeah, younger Flashback.
him. Flashback.
That could be your nickname, Flashback. There you go.
I'm a Flashback de la Isla.
Nice. If the board has any other questions about Mexico or Mexico disc golf and the scene here, certainly shoot it in. We're seeing, not just Mexico, obviously, as we've referenced, the entire just Latin America is the way it's blowing up everywhere. And whether you've got one course in Guatemala or you've got multiple courses in Belize or some of these other places, the first course going in Uruguay just last year.
Colombia.
Yeah. I've been told by a different birdie that's not you, maybe. I've been told that Colombia should be next on my list in terms of experiencing yet another country and where they're at. Have you been down there yet?
I've never been there,
Okay.
and I want to go, so
Okay.
we should go together.
Okay. After
So,
Thailand, probably?
Yes.
Okay.
But I've heard many good things about
Yeah.
Colombia. And Colombian players are amazing. I mean, Jimmy, one of the best Colombian players.
Yep.
He is one of the, not Mexican, but Colombian that could definitely be in the pros, playing with the pros. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have amazing players at FPO as well. So yeah.
Any other countries on your radar? I know Colombia we just said, but any other countries jump out at you as ones that you know of people trying to work on stuff or trying to develop things?
I know Colombia. I know Uruguay.
Yep.
You mentioned Guatemala, Belize, and I think Brazil has or is starting to.
Okay.
And Argentina.
Yeah, I was going to say Argentina.
Uh-huh.
I think I spoke to someone.
Yeah. But
okay.
Yeah. That's all I know.
I mean, just got to come down here and
just find
experience it
on Instagram. Like, I don't know, Ecuador Disc Golf. And you'll find something for sure.
Yes, plenty of options out here for sure. Johnny, anything else we got to touch on for the rest of the disc golf community? I see someone on the board had something, but anything else that you're thinking of?
No, I believe it was Ed that was talking about the new PDGA rules being sent out to podcasters. I think we're going to have the PDGA on next week. Is that correct?
Yes, not so spoiler. I don't know if that's a secret or not, but thanks, Ed, for bringing it up. Yeah, I think a couple of different podcasts are going to have a couple of different PDGA representatives and talking about some of the rules and just that entire process. Was it last year we had probably Robert Leonard maybe talking about some of the rules?
That sounds familiar.
So I think they're kind of spreading out some of the rules committee people to a couple of the different podcasts and probably describing the formality of how things are happening, what's going on, when it's going on, the timelines, all that other stuff. So I believe that we'll have a PDGA rep. It's probably Robert Leonard to be on next week. He'll be one of our guests. He may be one of a couple or not, but he'll be at least one of them. So, and speaking of PDGA rules, people, others, good friend Jamie Kemp just celebrated a birthday yesterday. So I want to get a shout out for him. He was one of the gentlemen that was in Uruguay with me last year.
Nice.
He was doing real work and I was watching him. But
do you have an ace in Uruguay?
Maybe. I don't know. All these international aces, I don't remember.
I don't know.
Maybe I did get one, but it was a first shot too.
Oh, amazing.
Anyway.
Not bragging, just saying. Stating facts.
It was. But Jamie did celebrate a birthday just yesterday, so big shout out to him. I know he's out there hustling around doing a lot of things. So yeah, we'll work and get that figured out, and next week we'll see what's going on. But I think we're going to have that PDGA rep here on the show.
All right, I think we can wrap this up, Tear Bear.
What? Seems so early, but yet seems so appropriate because there's stuff outside I got to go do. Like
that's what I've heard.
Oh my gosh, the burrito. I was like, obviously, so much good food everywhere. There's a million restaurants.
Yes.
However, I committed to the idea yesterday. I need like a street vendor. I'm sure you could probably give me 50 great restaurants. They're all over where I'm at. But I was like, I love the idea of a street vendor as well.
Just making
that, like grilling it up.
And
I watched him make it was smaller, absolutely smaller than a Chipotle or a Qdoba burrito in terms of the overall size, but somehow it was way more filling and it was so good. And I feel like a basic bitch that I want to go back to that same guy.
Do it.
But and he's like downstairs. We'll go down there.
Yeah.
He's like right outside the hotel.
I'll
like
try it.
Not even like 500 feet from me or how many meters that is, 150. It was so good. It was 75 pesos. What, that's 225? I don't know.
Amazing.
I feel like I should try more new stuff.
I mean, if you find something that you like.
Speaking of trying new, what are we having tonight?
Victoria's. Vicky's.
I did have one of these earlier, but not a little break from the norm. what are some of the other common Mexican beers?
Modelo, Corona. Those are like the big
Dos Equis.
Dos Equis.
Those don't seem as popular.
Yeah, I don't like them that much.
You're not doing their commercials.
I'm not doing their commercials.
You gonna do it? Can you do a Victoria's?
I did a Victoria commercial.
No!
I did. You might be able to find it on YouTube.
What did it sound like?
I was with the mariachi.
Okay.
So they were singing, and I was just there grilling with a buddy, and I didn't really have any lines. I was just there grilling and having some Vickies, which you cannot actually drink it. Yeah, Vickies, Victoria.
Well, now this is the second commercial you've done for them.
Hey, there you go, Victoria. These are really good. These are actually either Modelo Especial or Victoria or my favorite.
I took a chance and found some Imperial Stout bottle that's still in the fridge. Tonight's the last night, so I'm going to have to try that as well.
From Mexico?
Yeah.
Minerva?
I don't know. I don't.
Or Colimita.
It's probably not going to be as sweet as I like my Imperial Stouts, but it's chilled, and that's going to also have to get consumed tonight, and we'll see if it's up my alley.
Yes.
Maybe there'll be a special release in another day where I'll tell you about my cop interaction the other night.
Oh my God, yes. You should tell that story.
All right, here's the abridged version.
Yes.
Oh.
Abridged version. My first night here, I went out, was looking for some places where I had some dinner, really good time, and continued to venture around. And then when that was done, I decided to grab my Uber and start heading back toward the hotel, which was only going to be like 10 minutes away, not even. Different section from where I am now. But anyway, and a cop car pulls up, and I'm literally like, I'm double checking where my Uber address thinks I am, and I'm trying to read the wall, on this bigger street. I'm just like looking, I'm like, oh, that address doesn't match, or I can't find the address. And so a cop pulls up, two of them, and I'm like, oh, good, they're going to be helpful.
Oh, hey.
I'm like, they're like, hey, and I'm like, yeah, just trying to get my Uber, and they say, well, they get out of the car immediately. It's 3-ish in the morning, 3:30. And they walk up and say, well, do you have any guns or, any weapons or drugs? I'm like, no, I don't. They're like, okay, come on over here. We're going to just search you real quick. I'm like, no, I'm good.
You don't have
I'll
to.
pass. Like,
no,
thanks for the offer. No, I'm like, no, I'm good. And they're like, no, come over here. I'm like, no, I'm like, I got a little stern. I'm like, no, I'm good. A moment later, a taxi pulls up just in front of them, and he's asking him. I'm like, no, I don't need a ride. I'm trying to get an Uber. I'm like, I'm minutes from being back.
And you had the app.
Yeah, I literally had the app open and was trying to. And then another police officer pulls up from the other side, coming down the one way, the wrong way. And I'm like, that's not great. So he pulls up, and so now there's 3 of them, and at that point is when I got out my phone and I quickly filmed for a few seconds all 3 gentlemen, and said something stupid like, hey, these guys are trying to, I wanted to say shake me down, but these guys are trying to hunt me down, and I'm just trying to get my Uber and leave. And that was just it, like a little 8-second clip, because the guy was giving me a dirty look and coming at me. And continued just to prompt me for another 30 or 60 seconds. It felt much longer, of course. Yeah. And then finally, I just said, fine. And first I said, here, you can have my ID. And he goes, Barry? Yep, it's me. Okay. And I thought that was it.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, well, we still need to search you. I'm like, no,
just don't do the search.
And then finally I just said, fine, whatever. And I just put my arms out, made a perfect T. They patted me down. Oh, well, I should say, they tried to get me to come back over in front of the car again. I was like, no, I'm good. I just kept declining and saying I'm good. Yeah. And then I said, fine. And then he pats me down. I have literally my wallet, 600 pesos, and my phone. Mm-hmm. And that was it. And then, so they patted me all down, obviously found nothing else. That's it. They didn't say anything about any money or anything. And then one of the guys was still giving me a hard time. He goes, he gets out his phone and he translates and says, delete the video. I was like, no, I'm good.
I'll keep
No,
this.
I'll keep it.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, and then he points at it again aggressively and says, delete the video. So I go into the video, pull it up. He's looking over my shoulder. I click on a button. You can actually just move it. So I moved it. And then a second later, he goes, now go into your trash and delete it. He typed that up, translated it, said, go to your trash and delete it. So they know that trick. And so I then went in, I moved it to a different folder. And so I showed him my trash, which it wasn't in there. And so he believed me.
Uh-huh.
And then naturally I moved it back. I have the video. It's all of 8 seconds.
We'll show it to you.
Yeah, you'll get to see it on my Instagrams. They got in the car and they left. That was it. And I'll say this. Every local that I've told this story to was apologetic, which you don't need to be, but more so was surprised. I was in a good area. They just thought maybe they were trying to take advantage of some guy at 3:30 or that I was up to no good.
Yeah.
But I'm in the Uber Googling, can I just get, search for no, or whatever. I'm Googling it. And you guys pretty much have the same laws that we do in that, like, you can't just walk up to somebody and then search them.
No, you can't.
So it sounded like these guys were being jerks.
If they use their time wisely, this would be a better country for sure.
So
I think you can. I think you can say that about probably most. About somebody in every country like that. And honestly, look at Terry though. He looks shifty.
I mean, the first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this looks sketchy."
Yeah, stay away from this guy.
That doesn't belong in Cookioke. So I don't harbor any ill will. I mean, we all know it. There's a lot of great cops. There's a lot of bad cops out there and everything in between. I may have just run into a couple guys that were being jerks. I genuinely didn't have anything. I wasn't worried about it. I just felt violated in the sense that, like, they just rolled up to me on the street and I was literally just looking for an Uber. I wasn't stumbling or drunk or creating any, anything.
They were just trying to get something from you.
Yeah,
for
whatever.
sure.
So,
and they knew at some point they were like, we're not gonna get anything.
Yeah,
like, okay.
Maybe I was a little more resistant than probably most.
See, definitely.
Maybe. And I'm not saying that was a good strategy. It didn't hurt me in this case.
But it worked.
But I felt like they kind of eventually just walked off. Now I still got searched, but things could have went worse. Let's just say I didn't want to F around and find out, and possibly go to jail the night I arrive in Mexico before any of the weekend happens.
Could you imagine? Hey, Terry, what time are you arriving to the hotel? Terry,
where are you?
Where are you coming from?
I'm in cell 7. Yeah.
Why is this costing me to receive this call, Terry?
So it is what it is. Again, I'm not harboring any ill will. I have a story to tell, but and it went just fine. But
I'm glad
that was
nothing happened there. Yeah,
that was my experience here. I think I've been probably searched here by the cops more than in the U.S. now. That's one.
Oh, I disagree. You were probably searched as a kid.
Yeah, that's right. I was once.
Yeah, I think you told me that story.
Another story for another day. No felonies on my record that I know of. So,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything you want to say before we shut things down?
I just want to shout out to all the community, the disc golf community here in Mexico. I mean, all the way from Monterrey, La Paz, Montemorelos, Saltillo, Querétaro, San Luis, Guadalajara, Cocoyoc, Ciudad de México, Estado de México, and hopefully soon we can move to the south to bring more courses to the south. Shout out to my Caliente Disc Golf friends and all the locals here in Mexico, Disc Golf MX.
Yeah. So also another good follow on Instagram.
Yeah, follow us on shaman.disc golf on Instagram, on YouTube, TikTok, all the socials. And we're here. We're here and we love this.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts of the weekend is that I was able to capture a lot of randomness from the player party to the a little bit of play on the course to some of the other extracurriculars. And I'm going to be working with Kekis to he's going to do most of the editing. So when you see a cool edit eventually released on my channel or anything on my socials, we're going to know it's all come from him. It might be my footage, but he's going to do the edit, and I'm excited about that partnership.
He's created that.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So when you guys see something cool as a recap or something that documents the weekend a little bit, that's where it's going to come from. So big shout out for that opportunity as well. I got to have one final question. Why is your English so damn good? What's the backstory?
So I lived in Los Angeles for 7 years.
Okay.
I studied there and worked there studied for 3 and worked for 4 years in there. Had a little bit of English from school here in Mexico, but mainly when I arrived to LA to act in English, I was like a spoon. And it was not great. It was not great. I had to work a lot on my accent mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the story.
I love it. Well, I am very both jealous and appreciative of everyone that is so much smarter than me, because I go to all these countries and I know no other languages, and it's been very easy to navigate for the most part.
There's Duolingo. You can.
I know, but now I'm getting confused. Like, where do I put my efforts first? Like, what country do I even pick? I'm so blessed
to go all the
and it's
world.
Like, I want to learn Thai. I'd love to learn Finnish and Estonian and Spanish. I want to learn them all, and I'll probably learn none.
None of them.
Because I'm not smart.
Just don't.
I'm old now. I'm old.
It's okay.
AI will fix all of this.
Exactly.
Eventually.
Exactly.
I'm just going to hold out.
Yep, all the translating will be all automatic. It'll be in your ear. It's like Star Trek.
I'm just going to hold out at this point.
This will be for nothing.
So my right ear already doesn't work that well. So if I just maybe had like something implanted that was translating always in there, and then I don't know. There's an idea there somewhere.
Do it. You listening to this, do it.
All right, Johnny, we're gonna forego an after show tonight. Does that sound good to you too?
No, that sounds perfect for me.
All right. Well, I think we've got more than enough to digest here in terms of disc golf Mexico.
Go split a burrito.
Yes, we are.
We will.
It's on me. I owe you for the beers too. So we'll make it all happen. But I want to again say thank you to everybody here, yourself included, of course. Thanks for joining us tonight.
So much. Thank you so much for inviting me.
In another show, it's a no-brainer that we're going to have Fabienne join us, who can talk about just all of Latin America. I know we kind of dabbled in or touched on a few of the countries and subjects, but we'll have him on as a PDGA rep / just overall ambassador for Latin America Disc Golf. Super excited that we'll be able to check in with him at any given point. So keep your eyes out there. Of course, if you've got questions about anything going on in Latin America Disc Golf, you can reach out to me, and then I'll point you to the right channels in terms of wherever you need to find more information, whether that's on Instagram, YouTube, or any of the Facebook pages and all that stuff. Oh, Ed, you're right. Should we do a giveaway tonight, Johnny, or do you want to do double next week?
Double next week. That's usually what we do when you travel.
That's true. We do. So we'll double it up next week, Ed. And Ed, you'll miss it by one spot. I'm just kidding. You won't. Next week's your week. Yeah, next week your chances are doubled, Ed.
It's yours, Ed. It's yours.
Think about it. They're doubled because we're going to pull 2. So I think you'll probably have double the chance to win. All right. With that, I want to say thank you one final time. Appreciate it. Tweety has joined us.
We gotta give you a nickname, Debbie. Now that I think about it, you'll have a nickname next time you come.
I don't know if that's a good idea, but thank you for joining us, Johnny. Thank you for everything, and thanks everyone for tuning in. This has been SmashBoxxTV Podcast, episode 558. We're in Mexico City. Some great things going on in here and in all of Latin America. You're going to continue to see updates from my channel as well as SmashBoxxTV. We'll see you next week when you step inside the Smashbox.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the SmashBoxxTV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV.